Hello, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to review the real estate market analysis for Santa Clara County, California for August of 2009. My name is Robert Whitelaw. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the state of California. I'm also a member of the National Association of Realtors and a certified ePro. And I'm also the president and CEO of Whitelaw & Sons Real Estate Services, serving all of Silicon Valley. Now, if you'd like to get in contact with me, there's a variety of ways to do that. You can get me at my website at www.soldbyrobert.com. You can also email me at robert@soldbyrobert.com. You can also dial 408-852-0525 and talk to me directly by phone. You can also contact me using any of the popular online messaging software like AOL Instant Messenger, Google Talk, or Yahoo IM using the screen name The Rebel Broker. And if you're a Skype user, just use Rebel Broker and we can chat that way. And of course, referrals are always appreciated. Or if you or anyone you know is interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate in Silicon Valley, please feel free to get in touch. I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. And finally, even if you're not interested in purchasing in the area that I serve directly, I can help find the right agent for you wherever you are in the United States. So use any of the methods I've listed above to get in contact with me. Let me know what you're looking for, and I'll find the perfect agent for you. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the supply and demand numbers for Santa Clara County for the month of August. We'll go ahead and start off here trying to take a bit of a closer look at the inventory numbers. Now, as you can see, the inventory numbers are the light colored bar here. And we've had some really encouraging results last year. When we compare 2009 to 2008, it's been a dramatic drop. We're now back to levels that predate 2006 as far as inventory numbers are concerned, and that's fantastic. Sales numbers are also looking pretty good. We've seen an increase there, and we've seen a decrease in number of homes listed. That's actually been a steady decline. Let's go ahead and round up the numbers here. Now, the sales numbers, and that's the sort of brownish bar there on the far left. We had an increase of 9.72% in sales. That was a numeric increase of 87, giving us a grand total of 982 homes sold in Santa Clara County. Now, as you can see how the trend has been going, it's been a relatively steady increase year to year from 2007 to 2009. Now, let's just to let you know exactly what this graph is telling you, this is just the month of August, so you don't need to take into account any seasonal influences on these numbers. This is just the month of August going all the way back to 1999, so you can see the numbers for the same month going all the way back 10 years to sort of give you an idea of how things have changed at the same time of year from year to year. So as I said before, sales numbers have been steadily increasing. Now, this is a turn point year for us as far as inventory is concerned. You can see that we have finally started to see those inventories go down. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about listings as well. The number of homes listed in the month has been dropping steadily since 2005. Probably saw our biggest percentage drop this year between 2008 and 2009, and that's really good news. It's helping to contribute to keeping those inventory numbers down. Now, the number of new listings it was down 21.98% between August of 2009 and August of 2008. That's a 400 listing drop. That gives us a grand total of 1,420 homes that were listed in the month of August of 2009. Now, the inventory numbers, which is where the best news for the county really is this month, is the drop there of 40.27%. That is 2,402 fewer homes on the market in August of 2009 at the same time in August of 2008. So that's fantastic. That gives us a grand total of 3,563 homes currently on the market. Now, as I like to do, I want to point out the ratio here between the homes that have sold and the total inventory. What this does is tells us two things. It tells us how many months worth of inventory we have on hand. So if all the numbers for inventory and sales sold just froze where they are right now, how long would it take us to sell off the total inventory? Now, that number stands at 3.62. It's a little higher than last month, which was 3.01. And what that basically tells us is it would take a little over 3.5 months to sell off all of the inventory currently available in Santa Clara County. And I consider that to be a healthy ratio. Anything under about 4, I consider to be relatively healthy. And I think most other folks would agree with me. Of course, the last month was a little better, being at 3.01. But definitely a vast improvement over past months where we've seen this number far different. Now, what else does this tell us? If you're a seller, this also is what I like to call a competition index or a competitive index. It tells you how many homes are on the market for every one that sells. So if you're out there trying to get your home sold right now in Santa Clara County in August of 2009, you've got about 3.5 homes on the market for every one that gets sold, and that's a much better ratio. It's much more competitive that way. And it's also better for a balanced market. So in general, it's just good news for the market and also for sellers, but also for buyers. You still have plenty of choice out there. We've just now narrowed it a little bit so that you just don't have an endless choice because of a very bloated inventory. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the exact same numbers just over the past months now, and I've added trend bars here so you can see which way they're trending when averaged out. We'll go through a couple of things here and see if we can't figure out where we might be going, where we might be heading based on previous performance. Now, if you look over all the way to the right is the most current month, August of 2009. You can see inventory has been steadily declining. That's extremely good news. If we look to August of last year, we can see that we weren't really seeing such a steady decline. We actually saw things peak out around April or May and continue to remain relatively steady all the way up until August. And then we started to see the trend of decline last August with a couple of little bumps there in October. And then a bottoming out in December, which is entirely normal for the market. When you get deep into wintertime, it's normal to see that sort of a dip in the inventory as people take their homes off of the market. But if you sort of normalize it with that straight line, you can see inventory has just been steadily heading down. Next, if we take a look at the number of homes that were listed, we can see that's generally trending down also, which is good news. If we look at August of last year, we can see that it started a little higher and was generally down in August of last year. Same sort of trend here this year. So instead of seeing really something that we can attribute to seasonal factors, we can see in the long term these numbers are solidly heading in good directions. Now the sales numbers, same sort of situation there. You can see a steady increase over the past year as shown by the normalization bar that I have there. When compared to previous months, we can see we actually had a bit of a drop in August last year. Lots of stagnation. Really, it built up a little bit. We sort of peaked out in June, July, and then sort of things remained flat for August and September, and then started their decline in October and November, which is, again, normal for that time of year. So we're actually seeing a bit more of a more normal system this year where sales increase during those hot summer months when people want to buy, and then starting to see a little bit of a decrease as we head out of those summer months. Now, if we look at the straight numbers, the month-to-month change, so now this is looking at the change from July of 2009 to August of 2009, the number of homes sold decreased by 24.23%. That was 314 fewer homes sold in August than in July, but still a very good performance when compared to the same time last year. And again, a relatively normal drop for the time of year. The total number of listings dropped by 13.26%. That was 217 fewer homes listed in August than in July. And the inventory decreased 8.55%. That was 333 fewer homes in the inventory in August than in July. So all good news for the market in Santa Clara County in general. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the short sale and foreclosure ratio numbers. You can see that last month short sales made up 13%, foreclosures made up 27%, and conventional sales made up 60%. Given the way the market's going or the way it has been, it's good to see conventional sales taking up such a big piece of the pie last month. But we compare that to this month, we can see short sales actually increased by 2% as far as the overall market. Foreclosures also increased by 1%. And the conventional sales took a bit of a hit, dropping 3% to 57% of the total number of homes sold. What does this tell us? What can we learn from this? Well, I think we're heading into a time of year when the properties that tend to stay on the market tend to be the short sales and foreclosures. August clearly should still be a pretty robust month for sales. We'll probably continue to see things staying fairly good in September. We usually start to see things dropping off in September and October as we head into the winter months. It wouldn't be surprising if we saw some fluctuation in the short sale and foreclosure numbers at that time as well. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the home prices over the past year. As you can see, we've had a pretty dramatic drop from 2007 where numbers peaked. The average sales price in Santa Clara County, the highest priced home was $697. The average price was right around $720,000. The highest priced home, the average price was $697,000. $120. The lowest priced home was at 309 Walnut Lane in Gilroy, selling for $130,000. That property was actually bank owned. The change from year to year, we are seeing from 2008 to 2009 that prices dropped 17.83%. That is a dollar change of $151,296. This is obviously having a huge effect on sales. That's why the inventory has dropped down so much. And we've talked about this before. In order to get that inventory down, prices really had to become much more competitive. And this is what we're seeing. If you look to previous years, you can see that we're right around the 2003-2004 time frame as far as prices are concerned, which was just before the really big jump in the 2004 to 2007 time frame. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the same home prices just over past months. We can see that things really bottomed out there in January or February of 2009, and then we've had a relatively steady increase with a little bit of a dip this month between July and August. In fact, the average price in Santa Clara County was down 2.26% between July and August. That's a $16,101 drop. Now you can't see that from this particular graph simply because the market was overwhelming a lot of the seasonal influences. You normally will see a little bit of a drop towards the end of summer. It would be a little early to start seeing it in August for normal seasonal influences. You tend to see these numbers drop a little bit as the end of the season comes around and sellers might be more willing to entertain lower offers. Sometimes you'll see that affect this number. Relatively flat, but we'll be interesting to see how this continues on as we enter further into the winter months. Now let's go ahead and take a look at days on market. As you can see from these numbers, things have pretty much escalated since 2005 in a pretty steady fashion. From 2008 to 2009, the days on market increased by 8%. That's 6 more days to get a home sold in 2009 than in 2008, coming up to around 70 days to get a property sold. If we take a look at the same information for just past months, sort of see if we can't see if there's any seasonal trends here or changes just over the long term of the last year or so, you can see these numbers go all the way back to March. We hit our worst in the wintertime, which is fairly normal, and then we had them slightly dip after we got into the April, May, and June timeframe. From July to August, we saw these days on market numbers increase by 2.53%. That was an increase of 2 days. Many times, remember, this is just for properties that have sold, so a lot of times this simply represents properties that have been on the market a long time. This month, we had a lot of homes that had been on the market for a long time that'll just sort of boost that number up. But because of the sheer number of homes in the Santa Clara County market, I think these are pretty reliable numbers to go with. So we're starting to see just a little bit of an uptick in days on market, but nothing to really get too alarmed about. Now, I do appreciate you taking the time to listen to what I have to say on these subjects. I hope this has been valuable information for you. I won't go through and read off all the various ways to get in contact with me, but I will go ahead and list them here on the screen again. If you have any questions or concerns, if you'd like to offer any of your opinions on these subjects, or maybe make a request on other topics you'd like to see covered in these presentations, please feel free to get in contact with me using any of the ways listed here, and I look forward to talking to you next time.